Up first, breaking news involving a troubled Valley facility. The state is issuing a notice of intent to revoke the license for Hacienda Healthcare's Phoenix facility. Good evening, I'm Tram Mai.
And I'm Rachel Cole. Caribe and Mark are off tonight. Hacienda is where an incapacitated patient became pregnant and later delivered a baby. But now a new case involving a 28-year-old man living there with several maggots under a bandage. Now, that was near a surgical incision. Hacienda says the maggots may have come from flies that came indoors and laid eggs. The facility says crews took the man to the hospital and the leadership team reported the situation. Employees with the Arizona Department of Health Services at the Phoenix facility this afternoon there to investigate.
In a statement, the Department of Health Services says the notice of intent to revoke allows for the department to have increased accountability and oversight of the facility and does not mean Hacienda must immediately shut down. The Arizona Department of Health Services will continue to work with the Hacienda Intermediate Care Facility to ensure there is no interruption of services. End quote. Staff from the state will remain on site to make sure patients and families get appropriate care. All this comes as the ex-nurse accused of raping and impregnating an incapacitated patient at Hacienda loses his bid to stop court-ordered HIV testing. The Arizona Court of Appeals declining Nathan Sutherland's bid to undo the job requirement. Sutherland says there is no probable cause to believe he has a sexually transmitted disease. That test was ordered under a law that says people accused of sexual assault are subject to STD tests.